Kamalani Academy is in their very first year of existence, and in their charter, it does articulate a vision in which arts integration is the foundation for learning. And yet, of course, bringing together teachers from all across Oahu and even the nation, some of the teachers moved here to go teach at Kamalani, have a very broad range of experience, both in arts integration as well as classroom teachers. So the faculty of Kamalani is all trying to get together on the same page to realize this vision. And that's the primary guiding context here is year one of an arts integration charter school with huge range and variety of different professional educators.
Today, with our assessment, I want to acknowledge that the topics and themes of assessment are so many and so huge, and we're just going to dabble a little bit today, thinking about what is the point of assessment in all this arts integration work, specifically with the drama strategies that you've been working with Dan. So it's about assessment of drama, like of the art form, how or why do we even care about the art, and also assessment through drama, like how do we learn what students are understanding in content through their drama work. So our basic agenda for this morning is kind of thinking about our definitions of assessment, and then we get to go in and review the drama strategies that you've done. So we'll just do a kind of a short piece of sort of second grade wonders, integrated curriculum, also because it's enjoyable to get on our feet and to do what the kids do sometimes and to put our heads in the mindset of children. But then we're going to use that to go into the qualities of quality, assessing drama work, assessing process work. So I'll be coming back to Naho Pena A'o to see how that plays into all of this, and assessing content work. What happens? How do we assess science? How do we assess language arts through this drama work? So let's start for a minute by talk story with your shoulder partner, whoever's sitting next to you. How do you define assessment? What is your definition of assessment? Go ahead and talk story. Could I ask a few people to share out what you talked about? What's your definition of assessment?
We talked about how it's how it provides feedback for the students.
Yeah.
But also allows you, it's kind of like your driving force to allow you to be able to see where you need to go if you need.
That so often when we say, well, are the fourth quarter assessments in? What people are talking about is that right there, the bubble test. And those fourth quarter assessments are really just, one tiny little piece of assessment. They are one formal way of seeing where kids are at that moment, but it is not equivalent to assessment, as you pointed out. And same thing with grades, that grades are one tiny piece of assessment, but not an equivalent of assessment. And I think that sometimes we get really bogged down thinking like, well, if I assess a kid, it means I'm grading them. And certainly my beginning teachers who I often work with, that's what they always think. It's a grade. I have to give them a grade in art. Like they don't like that. They're not comfortable with that. But really, you can assess without grading at all, right? And then there's this other idea that it's a way of sorting children. In the beginning when they created IQ tests and everything, the military created that assessment in order to be able to sort people into ranks and to say, okay, you're going to be an officer, you're going to be a foot soldier. That was the whole purpose of that assessment. But really, at a school like this, it's not about picking out your star pupils and tracking them and making sure that they're always, among other star pupils. That's not how you guys roll at all, right? Although sometimes you need to do leveled readers, or sometimes you do need to know where they're at. I like to come back to the Latin root of assessment. Assessus means to sit beside. And I love that idea because I think assessment, a lot of people, it makes them a little edgy, to think that, well, you're going to assess my kids and that's that's a threatening thing because that is a reflection of my teaching. But really, assesses means that you're sitting beside, you're sharing information, you're giving that feedback that they need. And I really like to also come back to the Hawaiian word a'o, which is the same word for teaching and learning. So Piper, this builds on what you were saying, that these things go together. You haven't taught if they haven't learned. Of course, they are responsible. They have to do their part. They're not just the objects of your instruction. But that teaching and learning have to go together, and that's why assessment is instruction. It is the same thing, really. And of course, as an artist, and I heard Lorena talking about like dribbling the ball. Okay, if you can dribble the ball, you know, but you have to try. You have to get started at some point. And then I have to observe, give you feedback, and you have to get better, because that's life. And to me, it's about rehearsal. It's the act of rehearsal. You do it once, you figure out what needs improvement, you do it again, and into infinity, because there's always improvements. And that is a rehearsal cycle. So as an artist, I think of assessment